Welcome to the Maguire Iron Podcast. My name is Brian Cooper. I am the Director of Business Development and Marketing at Maguire Iron and your host for this podcast. At Maguire Iron, we've been helping to store and protect quality water for over 100 years. On this episode, our guest is Frank Dunmire, the Executive Director of the Illinois Rural Water Association. Frank has been the Executive Director of the Illinois Rural Water Association since September of 2004. He has 32 years of experience in the water and wastewater industry and was a member of the Illinois Rural Water Association Board for 20 years. Frank, thank you for joining me on the Maguire Iron Podcast.
You're more than welcome.
Frank, give us a little background. Who is the Illinois Rural Water Association, and give us your guys' background.
Well, Brian, Illinois Rural Water Association is a nonprofit organization, rural water and wastewater systems. We provide training and technical assistance throughout the state of Illinois. Membership is open to all organizations and individuals associated with the water and wastewater industry. IRWA was founded primarily to train and offer on-site technical assistance to small water and wastewater systems. IRWA is governed by a nine-member board of directors, 8 of which are elected by members in 8 separate districts throughout the state, and the 9th is elected as an at-large director at our annual conference. Each one of them serves a 3-year term.
So you talked a little bit about some of the things that your organization does and provides. Let's get a little bit more specific. Who are the members of IRWA when you say it's open to anyone in water and wastewater? What does that look like?
We have 4 categories for membership in the Illinois Rural Water Association. Probably the most important one is our voting members. To become a voting member, you have to be a municipality that is 10,000 or less in population. That is kind of defined by rural development, what a small rural system is, 10,000 and under in population. Then we have a membership bracket called supporting members. That's the municipalities that are over 10,000 in population. They do not have voting rights, but they will get, all of the other benefits of the association. Then we have associate members, which are the vendors, the manufacturers. Then we have an individual membership for water or wastewater operator to sign up as an individual. It's called SOUP, Society of Utility Professionals. Sometimes municipalities won't join the association, so individuals will join so they can get notices of any training sessions or conferences that are going to be going on.
So we talked a little bit about members. What are some of those benefits that the members get? I mean, you touched on technical assistance. What does technical assistance look like for your office to your members in the state of Illinois?
Well, for on-site technical assistance, we have 3 circuit riders that deal with drinking water issues. That might be operational, managerial, financial issues. They will visit in person with these systems, sit down, discuss their problems. If they don't know the answer, they usually know someone that does. And a lot of times that's going to be one of our associate members, a vendor, if you will. Then on the wastewater side, we have 2 wastewater technicians that travel the state. Predominantly, we have one in the northern part, one in the southern part. I should back up. We do have 4 circuit riders now on the drinking water side. It's not bad going from one side of the state to the other, but when you go from top to bottom, that gets real rough.
Right.
So on the wastewater side, we got the 2 wastewater technicians. We have one that works predominantly in the northern part of the state and then one in the southern part. Then we also have a source water protection specialist. He gets to cover the entire state. He draws up source water protection plans for systems it's far easier to keep contaminants out of a well than it is to remove them once they get in. So, he'll set up source water protection plans for systems. We do have a part-time position. It used to be a full-time position through US EPA funding for training, classroom-style training, and that person can also do on-site technical assistance as well. Let's see. Then we have an energy efficiency specialist. He will visit with systems, take a look at all of their energy usage, and then draw up a plan of how they can more efficiently run their systems, whether it be putting in variable frequency drives or replacing motors as they fail with more efficient motors, if you will. Maybe not change them out right away, but when they fail, look at the cost difference between a high efficient motor versus just an efficient one. We do have a state funded circuit rider that he delves into rate structures. And I had no idea until he started on that of how many different rate classifications some systems have in the state. He will go through, look at their audits, look at their rate structure, look at what kind of water they are selling, what kind of water they are producing, how much shrinkage is involved, and then he will put together a rate structure that will put them back into the black or improve their financial conditions. And a lot of this is revolved around them getting some sort of a loan, if you will. If you get a loan, how are you going to pay it back? Because, you have to pay it back.
Right.
So we give them several options of what they can do with their rates, and then they can kind of pick and choose to see what they want to do. And then we also recommend that they have an automatic increase every year of 3%. Nobody sees a 3% increase, but if you wait 10 years and do a 30% increase, the phone rings off the wall.
Right, exactly.
So, some of them have taken us to heart on that and have put that in place. Our deputy director, he does our GIS GPS mapping for us, and he also runs the pipeline video inspection equipment on larger projects.
I think that people don't realize that all of the services you just listed that rural water provides, it's an extensive list, and not a lot of people know it happens, but it's really important that these services exist.
Yeah, and along with those services, we also have what we call an equipment library. There's a lot of equipment that a system may only need to use once or twice a year. And, some of this equipment is expensive. So, we have been fortunate enough that we can purchase all kinds of equipment and then just kind of put it into a library. So, if you need to test your well depths or something like that, you can come and borrow the equipment, check it out, bring it back in working condition, we hope. If it works when it leaves, we'd like for it to work when it comes back. On my last insurance, we were looking at $350,000 worth of equipment that we have in our library for them to borrow.
Yeah, that's a great service as well. And one of the other things, that you provide to your members is training. And that seems to be one of the other high level things that your organization provides to its members. Talk to me a little bit about how you provide training and how important that is for your members.
Almost everybody can do training, but not everybody can do training right. And we always meet with representatives from US EPA, and more importantly, Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. What are we looking at as far as, maybe new rules, new regulations? What are you seeing as a privacy agency as, common things that our systems are struggling to stay in compliance with? And, we'll take all of that and then we'll start designing our training program for the upcoming year, and kind of delve into that subject matter and try to get people back into compliance. We we struggled through this whole COVID-19 thing of not being able to do in-person training sessions.
That was going to be my next question, because I think you're not unlike any other organization where, your primacy agency, Illinois EPA, has said you still have to be certified as a water operator or a wastewater operator, but yet nobody can meet in person. So what was your strategy? How did you overcome that? What did that look like for your organization?
We did some webinars. There are operators in Illinois, and I'm sure that's probably that way across the country. They really like in-person, face-to-face training sessions. And, we struggled on trying to put some webinars together, but, you got to do what you got to do. But then we would also look at, what phase is Illinois in for, recovery? How many people can we get into a room, socially distanced? And, for a while there was 10 people. And so, we would actually have small in-person training sessions with just 10 people in the room, just so they could get their CEUs. Because, we did talk to primacy about, is there going to be, an extension for those that will be, expiring at the end of June? And the answer was no. They've had 3 years to get their hours in, and there's ample, online training out there. So no, we're not going to extend it.
How has that process changed the way you guys look at training, and does that change your plan for training moving forward based on what you learned during COVID?
Well, I would love to say yes, that we're going to put together a lot of webinars, but to be honest with you, we just don't see the value in just doing predominantly webinars. They just, in my opinion, do not get enough value out of sitting there watching a computer screen and getting interruption after interruption during, the 30 minutes or hour or however long the training session is. It's just too easy to get distracted on webinars. So we are looking at doing more in person as the state begins to open up. That being said, large gatherings are still a challenge right now. So conferences are going to be a little bit different looking, but we are going to be trying to get back into the in-person training sessions.
That was my next question. You talk about large gatherings. I know you postponed your annual conference that happens in the spring to June. I'm guessing part of that was because of, where you're at with COVID, the regulations. What has that done to your organization to be able to pivot that kind of an event, still put it on, but yet have to do it in a different way than you have in the past?
Well, to say it was a challenge would be an understatement. We've had lots and lots of meetings and discussions amongst, our office staff and our membership services director. She is our conference person. We have met with the conference center on numerous occasions. Where are we at now? What can we do? What can't we do? So, we made the decision not to cancel, but to postpone ours, from February into June, just to see, what was going on at that point in time, and could we possibly get a conference in and get operators, a bunch of CEU hours. So we finally landed on, I believe this is Plan C, that it's going to be a 2-day event, but you will only sign up for 1 day. So the topics will be repeated the following day. We can get 200 people, attendees, into the classrooms and be socially distanced and meet all state guidelines at this point in time. So we can get 200 people there, but we got to split them into, 2 herds of 100 each. In Illinois, if you are fully vaccinated, you do not count towards the 100 people that you can have. Technically, you can have more people there. How we are going to determine whether or not they're fully vaccinated, not sure on that one yet. That's a meeting to be had yet.
Right. It's an ever evolving situation.
Yes. So, our topics for the day, each of our speakers will present twice on the subject each day, splitting, into herds of 100. So from 9 to 10, you'll hear subject A, and then from 10 to 11, subject A will be taught to the next 100 people. So that's where we have landed right now at this point in time. Before this latest surge, we were really, really close to what they are calling the bridge from phase 4 to phase 5, which phase 5 is, everything wide open. And in the bridge, you could have had large gatherings again. So we're kind of crossing our fingers, hoping that we can get to there, because we are administering another association's fall conference for them this year. They came to us and asked if we would administer their conference where they were struggling. And right now we're planning on that one being a wide open conference.
Let's switch gears here a little bit. We've talked about COVID-19 and the issues you guys have faced during that. What are some of the other issues that your members, your organization are trying to help your members with?
Well, during the COVID pandemic, a lot, almost everyone, water system out there did not turn anyone's water off, for non-payment. Most of them did not charge any late fees. And, at the end of the month, they were struggling, the systems were struggling and trying to pay their own bills because they did not have the revenue coming in that they should have. So, we are visiting, with systems, trying to show them what they can do, with rates, to improve their financial situation. We've also been able to demonstrate to them that there are some options out there as far as low interest loans to get them through. Some of them, in Illinois anyway, are grants that they can apply for just to make ends meet.
What does the future look like for Illinois Rural Water? Where are you guys going? What are some of the things that you're excited about on the horizon that you're helping out members with, or things you're looking at?
Probably the most exciting thing that we've got on our plates right now is the apprenticeship program that we are trying to get up and running. This is another program through National Rural Water Association and being funded by USDA Rural Development to try to train the next generation of water and wastewater operators. Ryan, to be honest with you, every time I'm at a conference and I have to speak, I'm always looking out in the audience. And what I see, if they've got any hair, it's gray, just like mine. And they're not going to be around, too many more years. And then I look at the young faces. And I'm thinking to myself, unfortunately, I'm probably not going to see half of those young faces back here next year. And that's all because city councils, village boards don't really realize what the value of an operator is until, I should say, they don't have one. And then they're trying to find one. And they're like, uh-oh, I have to have an operator and there's nobody out here. So, through this apprenticeship program, we are going to demonstrate that there is value in a water and or wastewater operator. It's going to be a 2-year apprenticeship. They have to work for a system and there has to be a mentor there. We'll be going through all of the OSHA classes and safety classes and then get into water and or wastewater. And Illinois is going to be $15 an hour minimum wage in 3 more years. So that is the minimum that they're going to have to pay an apprentice to start off. And then after 6 months, there would be a 10% increase. After a year, another 10%. After 18 months, another 10%, and then 20% at the end of the year. So when it's all over said and done with, after that apprentice comes out of the program, he should be making a livable wage between $48,000 and $50,000 a year.
I think this is a great initiative because, as you mentioned, when you look out over the room and see all the water operators and where that age is at, I mean, this is an important piece of the future for water distribution and wastewater treatment in the state of Illinois.
Yes. Now, if we could just get an apprenticeship program for village board members and city council members, we'd have it made, but we just can't do that.
All right. Well, Frank, I really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us on the podcast and help us learn more about Illinois rural water.
You're welcome.
Remember, you can always connect with us by going to our website, maguireiron.com. You can ask questions by sending us an email at info@maguireiron.com, or you can follow or reach out to us on any of our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us on the Maguire Iron Podcast.